Hey everybody, welcome to Adventures with Peps. I am super excited for today. The second gift from my wonderful supporter Sloan has actually now arrived, and it is the Brother Gomorrah miniature from the 1980s Games Workshop Judge Dredd role-playing game. Now, before I go too far into this episode, let's just all collectively say thank you, Sloan, for getting me these. They are amazing. I know they were a real pain to get into Canada, what with postal strikes over Christmas and then Trump era. It's been a adventure for definite, but I now have both of them. I am so excited to paint this model. So let's clean off the desk and get into it. So like most of my projects, I started with a black under primer and then decided to dry brush on a lighter tone to help with the contrast paints. Now I received the Golden Maple face and skin paint sets, and they are now becoming my go-to underbrushing, I guess is what they're called. And I grabbed the balanced skin because I thought this would help with the coat, but as I'm painting it on, I realized it looked a little bit dark, so I decided to let it dry, and I went over again with a slightly lighter one in the set, which is called Fair Skin. This should give me a real nice base to work the contrast paints off. And if you're interested in any of these paints, make sure you check out the link below. It should take you to their Amazon page, I believe, and you can check it out for yourself. I'm really enjoying this paint set. I'm also kindly being sent some brushes soon, so expect to see that on the channel. I hate talking about my paint jobs, so you can watch that, and I will talk about the character instead. So, Brother Gomorrah, second in command. He is from the Cursed Earth, and he is part of the Mutie Brotherhood, serving as Morgar's second in command. He is completely loyal to Morgar, and Gomorrah was a very open-faced kind of person. Obviously a little pun on the way he looks. But Brother Gomorrah was stationed atop of Mount Rushmore when he noticed Judge Dredd and co. riding below in the Killdozer. Immediately he returns to an abandoned town where the Mutie Brotherhood had made camp and informs Brother Morgar about the outsiders he has seen. He then follows Morgar and the other mutants to the edge of Mount Rushmore and tries and fails to kill the judges. Later, he rides alongside in a school bus chariot with Morgar when trailing the judges before a shootout between the Muties and the judges. It is unknown if Gomorrah escaped, died during the shootout, or was killed by Novar's psychic attacks, but he is never seen again. And that is it. There is really not a lot of info on this guy. For the most part, the artwork is black and white, so I had some freedom. I think there is a coloured picture that shows that he has a red face and blue eyes. I'm not a fan of that. I did not like that version of the artwork, so I went onto the good old internets, as we are prone to do these days, and I found another picture of him where he has kind of the pulp-esque rain mac on, normal flesh kind of tone as well. But I also wasn't fully set on that. I wasn't sold on any scheme that I'd seen so far. So instead, if I can find where my reference has gone, I was looking at some images and I came across Rogue Heresy's website. So the website is, if I can get my stuff all together, rogueheresy.com. He has a lot of Judge Dredd miniatures on there, so well worth a look. It's an old blog by Google, so that tells you probably the age of it all. This is seemingly from 2016, though he does have some posts from 2025, so he is still going with some stuff, but his Judge Dredd seemed to be from the 2016 onwards, roughly. And he has loaded the Mutie sculpts based on the Brian Boland story arc of the Cursed Earth. The page that I'm currently looking at, there's the Mutie in the dress. Then there's Brother Gomorrah, and he's done him in a darker brown coat, so I'm definitely stealing that idea. Gave him a grey hat, which I'm not going to do that. I'm going to match it to the coat. But he gave him kind of this undead earthly look. So I'm definitely going to play off that with the paints we're going to use, as you'll see in this video. And then of course I'm going to be putting all these Muties into one group called the Red Leg Raiders, which are going to be led by Rhode Island. So I'm going to use that scheme on his trousers, but obviously he is part of the Mutie Brotherhood officially, but unofficially he's going to be part of the Red Legs for my games. And that's about it. I've got not a lot more to say about him, so we'll just talk about the paint job instead now. So with his info taken care of, it's time to talk about the actual paint scheme. So as I mentioned earlier, we did a black prime, which I then dry brushed over with a couple of lighter tones, starting with the golden maple balanced skin, followed by the golden maple fair skin. To this, we swiftly moved on to the sand golem. There was a part of me that wanted to do hardened leather. There was also a part of me that wanted to do the dark wood, but I was worried they'd come out too dark, so I went for sand golem. I'm glad I did, because it dried very nicely indeed, as I'm sure you'd seen at the beginning of the video. But I took my time working around the hat, making sure to leave the band a nice light colour for later, and also the coat, made sure not to cover the belt because I knew that was gonna be a different colour. I wasn't sure what yet, along with the trouser legs, so wanted to avoid all that, but this was the biggest part of the model to get done, so it made sense to just get it out of the way and over with. While that was drying, I grabbed the Grave Lord Grey and just blocked in the pistol. As always, I really don't like metallic paints, so I feel this Grave Lord Grey does a great job on that pistol. We then had a nice quick step, which was the eyes. For that I used a purple alchemy, and with a very nice fine point on my new paintbrush, I just dabbed on those eyeballs. I'm going to try and keep this brush in a very nice condition because it has a wonderful point on it and it's going to be great for detail work. With that done, we were able to go back to the hat and the little band that goes around it, and for that I used Fire Giant Orange. I'm going to be honest, you can't tell it's orange on the end result. I guess, because the orange kind of matches the sand golem, it blends in a little bit too much, so I might have to change that. I'm going to leave it as is for now, but I might mess around a little bit more to brighten that up so it pops a bit more. We then had some quick stages, which included the right leg becoming a blood red in colour and the left leg becoming magic blue, just to match the rest of my Mutie gang. And then we were onto the skin, so I could have done flesh tone as discussed earlier, but I think once again that would blend into the sand golem. I am learning this lesson with the slain models, that these browns and flesh tones, they just all start blending together if you're not careful. So I wanted to make sure he popped a little bit. I wanted it to be clear that he's a mutant, might be a little bit sickly from living in the cursed earth. So I grabbed the Malagant green and just went to town on his hands and face. Doesn't really have a lot of flesh on show, it's mostly the face, and that's about it. So I got a good coat on that. I will mention, make sure your paints are fully dry, otherwise they will bleed. It's the downside of some speed paints and some contrast paints. So just take your time, let it dry between each stage, and you'll thank me later for that. With that drying, it was easily down to the bottom of the model, and we did the boots in a grim black and his belt as well. And then it was a nice simple stage to finish up with, painting the base grey, giving it a dark wash, and letting it all dry. And with that, the model was complete. Now I'm going to do my little 360 spins and some photos for you guys, but as always, I appreciate you stopping by, listening to me mumble through a script. As a dyslexic kid trying to read his dyslexic writing and talk out loud into a microphone, I stumble on my words a lot, so I appreciate it if you've made it to the end. As always, if you could like, comment, subscribe, really does help out the channel. If you fancy buying me a cup of coffee like Sloan does every month, drop a little subscription down below for me. It'd be truly appreciated, and after a couple of months I will make you into a character in Sector 102 as well, so it's well worth it. If you don't want to do that but you want to come hang out and chat with me and the other people, come head over to Discord, sign up over there, share your projects, ask questions, have a good time. That's about it. As always, cheers for watching. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and then go watch this one. This one up here. Give it a click. Bye-bye.